And here we have one of Britain's earliest forms of the bus shelter. What? Well, it's not a bus shelter. Shit. Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to the North Downs Way. Joined by Luke again from the Real Travelling Amigos, and he's going to be doing, I think, all the sections with me, if not most of them from now on, as he's got the bug for doing it. We're back at Ranscombe Farm Nature Reserve car park on the outskirts of Cuxton in Kent. We're into Kent now, and this section is section 7, Cuxton to Detling, and that's 12.5 miles. So we're starting from here where we left off last time before the lockdown. A lot has changed since then, and we're going to be heading over the Medway bridges to the other side of the River Medway into the heart of Kent. It's very hot out today. I think we're on for some kind of heat wave, so we've got sun cream, lots of water with us. I've got a Tarp And Bivvy tonight. I think Luke's got the same as well.
Yep.
And we're going to try and wild camp on top of Bluebell Hill. Really nice viewpoint. It's not that far away, it's about 4 to 5 miles. So we've sort of started a bit later today, and not too much walking this afternoon and this evening. We'll camp there, and then we'll do the majority of the section tomorrow morning. Should be good fun. There's enough talking, let's get walking. Now the North Downs Way crosses the River Medway, a matter of some importance to the good folk of Kent, because those born west of this noble river call themselves Kentish men or maidens, while those born east of it are men or maids of Kent. HS1 or High Speed 1 is the name of the 68-mile high-speed railway line that whisks Eurostar trains from London St Pancras to the Channel Tunnel en route to Paris or Brussels, and South Eastern Railway's Javelin trains to East Kent. In the future they are expected to be joined by Deutsche Bundesbahn trains to such places as Frankfurt and Amsterdam. The line took 9 years to construct, and the full length was completed in 2007. The M2 is quite short as motorways go, 26 miles in length, in effect just a bypass for the Medway towns, taking away the traffic that would otherwise pass through them on the A2. It was completed in 1965, but the original plan to extend it to Dover has not materialised. The Medway bridges, sometimes called the Medway viaducts, are usually referred to in the plural, as there are in fact 3. The original 6-lane bridge opened in 1963 and included a footpath on either side. This was joined in 2003 by a second bridge, resulting in 2 4-lane carriageways, but at the expense of the footpath on the south side. The bridge for HS1 was completed in 2007. The shared use track we are walking on, 116 feet above the river, is actually a service road which can be commandeered for emergency vehicles if necessary. If that were to happen for any length of time, you may need to divert via Rochester. The River Medway rises in the Ashdown Forest in East Sussex and flows for 75 miles to reach the Thames estuary between the Isles of Grain and Sheppey. It is navigable by craft up to 80 feet long as far as Tonbridge, and larger sea-going vessels can pass underneath the Medway bridges to reach the first lock at Allington. There is a theory that the name, first recorded in AD 764 as Medwain, was a corruption of ancient British and Celtic words meaning Golden River. From 1915 to 1946, this part of the river was used for takeoff and landing by the flying boats of Schultz Brothers, whose factory was located on the east bank at Borstal. The motorway bridge would preclude such a thing nowadays. Nashenden Down Nature Reserve was established by Kent Wildlife Trust in 2009 with the aim of creating a haven for rare and threatened birds, animals and wild flowers. This will be achieved by turning most of its 130 acres of arable farmland into chalk grassland, extending existing woodland and restoring grubbed out hedges. The remaining farmland will continue to be managed in a wildlife friendly way. This section starts by climbing over Ranscombe Farm Reserve to cross the Medway bridges, where you are accompanied by the M2 and Eurostar's high-speed railway line. You can try to ignore them by looking left from your high vantage point above the River Medway towards Rochester's Castle and Cathedral, while admiring aquatic birds flying gracefully below and feeding on the salt marsh, as well as shimmering yachts at Medway Bridge Marina. The motorway is soon left behind as you steadily ascend Nashenden Down, with some fine views. Then it's nearly all level or downhill, apart from one steep ascent after passing prehistoric Kitscoty House. Shoulder of Mutton Wood, donated to the Woodland Trust in 1993, dates from the 17th century, and the name is thought to derive from its shape. The north end contains a bell barrow or burial mound from the Bronze Age, which means it could be 3,100 to 3,500 years old. It's about 3:30 and that was a tough little climb for about 2.5 miles and over the Medway Bridge as well. It's still very, very hot out. We've stumbled across this little hidden viewpoint area, and there's a gentleman painting over here as well, which is quite cool. And this is literally just off of the North Downs Way, and looks like someone's had a fire already over there. But I'll tell you what, how good would this be for a little wild camp? Stumble across this. There's loads of little places over the back here and off to the side here, but just look at all of this and benches and stuff and that view. What a find. Might have to come back here. Painter that we come across up at that viewpoint up that way was so cool. It reminded me of Bob Ross a little bit, and yeah, he was a cool guy. Stephen, I think his name was. We found a nice little spot in the shade just off of the footpath. Well, actually we're right next to the footpath. It's actually like a small track sort of thing, and just taking on some more fluids, contemplating why we're doing this. It's so hot. It's ridiculous. It's like the first time today that I've actually stopped sweating, and it is boiling hot. Like literally you're drinking water and it's just coming straight back out in sweat. It's first world problems, Tom. There's far worse things going on in the world, trust me. This is nice. It's nice to be out still, back on the North Downs. Right, we've arrived at Bluebell Hill and we're just heading through the trees out to the viewpoint now. And here we are. It's bit windy. Look at that. This is Bluebell Hill. And, yeah, there's a few little spots. There's one particularly back there, but there's a family there at the moment. That's a good spot for camping. Look at that. Nice. That weren't too bad to get to, was it? It was a killer. Bluebell Hill picnic area is a site of special scientific interest, managed by Kent Wildlife Trust on account of the wealth of specialist species that inhabit this chalk grassland, including flora such as salad burnet, bird's foot trefoil, horseshoe vetch, fairy flax, pyramidal orchid, bee orchid, false broom grass, hairy violet and bulbous buttercup, and insects such as chalk hill blue, silver spotted skipper and brown argus butterflies and the strawbell moth. A memorial here pays tribute to a Kent Air Ambulance crew who were killed nearby in 1998. It's about 9:30 now and we're all set up on top of Bluebell Hill, just literally right next to the North Downs Way footpath. It's the only flat bit of ground we can find. There's a residential road other side of these trees behind the camera. So that's my new OEX Expedition tarp in a fetching green. Got it for £34, brand new from Millet's eBay shop. Nice and light. Hopefully it should work. We'll see, fingers crossed. It's a little bit windy and I think we might be forecast like a thunderstorm or a little bit of rain, but I wanted to test this out and see if it works. So that's the tarps all set up, and that's Luke's, Andy's tarp and the Rabbit Survival Zone bivvy bag that I sold him, and then we've used like a stick to make the plough point, and then mine is just over there. That's the OEX Expedition tarp. Literally bought it not that long ago. I'll just show you around here now. Really overgrown this since I last come here. Apologies for the wind, I've not put the microphone in yet. There's our view for the night. That's going to look amazing once all the lights come on. And the North Downs Way is literally there. This is the only flat bit of ground on the entire hillside. So I have got under here, I've got Mountain Warehouse bivvy bag, which I bought for about 20-25 quid. That's a big OEX dry bag with my rucksack and spare stuff in. I sort of use it as a pillow. The one I've got's a winter one. Got a silver ground mat underneath that. A Mountain Warehouse summer sleeping bag with a built-in bug head net. There's a Chinese cheap Climate Copy full-length mat, inflatable. Silk Sea to Summit sleeping bag liner. A Trekology Aleph 2 inflatable pillow. I love that pillow at the moment. And yeah, I've got plenty of space under there. I can sit under there and cook. And because I've pegged it down to the floor, it's like it'll block the wind a bit more, and plus I kind of wanted a bit of privacy from people walking past thinking there's a corpse in a bag under a tarp, you know. So I thought that's a little bit better. And then the back is just one pole section there, because it comes in 3 sections, the poles. So I've got one section there at the back, guide down the corners there, guide down in the middle, and then guide down corners there, and then 3 section pole here, guide out, and then pulled them out here. And that's it. Dinner is finally served, and it's going to be consisting of this Blarband Nordic food wilderness stew with rice. It's from a Swedish Army Arctic 24-hour ration pack, which was about 5,000 calories. So I've split that over 2 camps worth of food, and this is the second lot. The last lot I had was at Minsden Chapel, and I didn't eat all of that, so there's a few bits with me for this trip as well. So never had this before. It's dehydrated. There's the contents. So we've done that, and then to go with it, I've made a coffee and like a chocolate protein recovery drink. So sort of like a chocolate, like a kind of like a mocha, but like a protein mocha of sorts. And that was bits from the ration pack as well. And then, because I just wanted to use the fuel I had left in the alcohol stove, I've made Cadbury's hot chocolate, and I'll have that as my last drink before I go to sleep. I've got me Tom Shoe 900ml titanium pot again with me tonight. I love this pot at the moment. Bay alarm on it, it's really good. The moon's out over there. And then the stove I'm using, that's Luke's windshield, because his was too short for his gas stove, but it was the perfect height for my stove. And then my windshield is over there, and that was too high for my stove, but it was the perfect height for his, so we swapped. So I've got Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove, so it's a multi-fuel stove, and inside it I've got one of my little homemade alcohol stoves from 2 soda cans. I didn't make them, I bought them on eBay pre-made, 99p for 3 of them. Gave one to Richard, £3 P&P. That's the rest of my food there, and a drink, and then we've got a ton of booze left over. I'm going to have a little look at this IPA very soon. Innis & Gunn, Mangoes on the Run. What's the percentage on it? Where is it? 5.6. It's 11:30 and we're both in our respective tarp shelters. A little bit of a breeze coming through here, but I should be fine once I'm in the bivvy. Managed to get the alcohol stove under here as well, and boiled up some water for a little pucker nighttime herbal tea. Still finishing off that Innis & Gunn Mangoes on the Run. Was very strong mango flavour actually, or at least it started out that way, and then the bitterness of the IPA kicked in, but still not a bad little IPA. See, now it just tastes very bitter. There's not a lot of mango taste, so I'm probably going to give it a 5 out of 10. I could drink it, but I think I'd have to drink it really quick to savour the mango taste. So it's just been windy really, sort of the last sort of few hours that we've been up here. All the lights on are on down below. That's my view from out at the tarp. Pretty cool. And I think we're going to aim to sort of get up for probably around sunrise, but we don't want to be hanging around here too long, especially with the tarp set up. So we'll get up, we'll get sort of whatever filming and photographs we need to do of the shelters in all their glory, and then we'll get them taken down and get most of our sleeping gear and stuff squared away, because there's a little bench that we've been sat on most of the night, and we can just sit there and cook breakfast. That's the plan, and we can take our time then really. Anyways, yeah, it's been good fun. So enough yawning, and I'll see you in the morning. Morning all, it's just gone 6 AM. I've been up since about 5, I would say. It's a bit windy, the clouds look a bit threatening, but it didn't rain at all last night. There was sort of a constant sort of wind and a breeze, but it wasn't particularly cold really. We was toasty in the tarps. Tarp performed really well. The mountain warehouse bivvy bag did. At one point I wasn't sure if it was breathing very well because it felt a bit like a lot of condensation had built up inside, but actually it wasn't. I think I was actually sweating so that was good. The mountain warehouse summer bag with the built-in bug net was really good, and once you zip the mesh face thing up on it, it held so much warmth. It was amazing, really good. A little bit tight in places, so if you're a side sleeper and you're turning over and stuff, that was a bit difficult, as was the mountain warehouse bivvy. That's quite narrow and quite tight. There's not a lot of room for you to move about in and stuff, so I'd probably end up selling that bivvy if I'm honest and stick with my OEX Bush Pro and my Outkit Hunker XL, because there's loads more room in those and they're still really light. Just doing some breakfast. It's more from that Swedish Army Arctic ration pack. Fruit muesli with strawberries dehydrated, and coffee and a hot chocolate mocha, and I've had some chewing gum already just to sort of freshen my breath as it were. So I've cleared most of the stuff away under the tarp. I've got to just take the tarp down and then go and sit over at that bench over there. That white carrier bag, by the way, that's all of our rubbish and other people's rubbish that we cleared up. I'll tell you the interesting story about last night over breakfast, but I'm just going to get my breakfast sorted out first and then I'll tell you what happened. It was quite eventful and quite annoying. Put it this way, I wouldn't camp here again. Okay, that's everything packed away, and clearly we're leaving absolutely no trace. Bit of flat grass. This big dirt ring here was already here, trust me. That was here the last time I camped here with Candice. I think it's from where someone's had a massive fire next to this bench. It started raining, so what we're going to do is we're going to move further along the hill to a little sheltered spot in the woods. I think there's a little bench there and it might be a bit more out of the bad weather, and we'll continue having breakfast there. Welcome back everyone. It's probably about 7:30 now, and the rain did get a bit heavier and the wind picked up a little bit, so we moved to this little spot that's got a table, like a picnic bench, sort of just in amongst the trees right by the car park at Bluebell Hill, which is incidentally closed at the moment. So luckily I had this plastic rain poncho because I've not got a waterproof rucksack cover with me, I've not got waterproof over trousers with me, I've got this crappy little rain jacket. I've got all the stuff in a dry bag inside the rucksack. Basically I left all the waterproof stuff out at the 11th hour, excuse me, because we weren't forecast any rain, so this is completely unexpected. The muesli with strawberries was very nice and the hot drinks were much appreciated, so trying to get some water off the camera. So yeah, it was an interesting night last night. Basically at about 11:30 we'd been in our bivvies for about half hour and about 11:30 we could hear voices, and I say it's quite a popular spot and it does attract a lot of nightlife here. like of all kinds really. Unfortunately you do get a few bad characters and that. Well, basically, yeah, 11:30 we could start hearing like kids' voices, you know, like teenagers, stuff like that, turning up, and quite a lot of them. And there was like a bit of commotion outside on the road, like it sounded like cars crashing and stuff. And it's just kids basically. It turned up late at night with, you know, booze, a disposable barbecue, burgers, sausages to cook, and of course they stumbled across us, and like we could hear them going, "Oh look, there's tents there, there's tents set up," and everything. So we got the usual couple of like heckles and stuff, and we just ignored them really, and they went and sat sort of further down the hill, but we could hear them. They were making so much noise, and that's not so bad. I mean, to be honest with you, it's our fault because camping here is not actually wise. It is a lovely view, but it's not wise because you're right on the footpath, it's right by a residential road, and of course you attract all kinds of people. So they were here for about 2 hours, and I think as they were leaving, I'd sort of just started to drift off to sleep, and as they were leaving, I don't know what happened, but one of them basically, I think, tried to scare me under my tarp, and he must have been right next to the tarp because suddenly he went "Ah!" like that, and then I don't know if he fell into my tarp or tripped over a peg or even up or just pulled one of the pegs out, I'm not sure, and one of the corners fell in. Luckily the tarp was still standing, but I could hear a lot of panicking outside, and I think he's called Owen, little wanker anyway, and they sodded off really. So I don't know if it was accidental, probably they was doing it to take the piss anyway, but they sodded off, and then we could finally get some sleep, although I had to get out in the middle of the night and re-peg that corner of the tarp down, but it still stood up, the tarp. So it's one of them things in it, you just get kids like that everywhere, I guess. And yeah, in the morning we went and had a look where they'd been, and they had left so much rubbish everywhere. There was like a couple of big disposable barbecues, empty beer cans, empty glass bottles, like remains of like burgers and stuff everywhere, just crap everywhere.
And they didn't even offer us a burger.
We cleared up our rubbish. It just goes to show you, you know, there are bins provided here, just people just don't respect it. But I get the feeling if we were awake, or if there were people milling about that time of night and had seen them, they'd have probably said something, and then they would have probably taken their rubbish with them, or they'd have just thought, well, there's people will see us leaving rubbish and they won't do it. But it was the fact that we were, well, supposedly asleep. Yeah, they thought they could get away with it, but it is what it is anyway. But yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, someone trying to destroy my tarp at like 2 in the morning. But lessons learned, don't try and wild camp at Bluebell Hill, because you've got the residential road behind you, and of course it's just easy for people just to wander over here really. The view is nice, but it's just not worth camping here. So we've sort of really only got ourselves to blame really. You know, you can't excuse other people's behaviour, but we put ourselves in this situation, so next time I'll find somewhere better to wild camp. Good thing I bought this disposable poncho with me and go over the rucksack as well. I don't care what it looks like, it works, and it's lightweight and it's cheap. So anyways, we're going to get a shift on, so enough talking, let's get walking. Style points, definitely. It works though, it does work.
Right, Tom, I think you should create yourself a poncho dance.
A poncho dance?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit on the spot, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Nothing's planned in this.
That'll do.
There you go.
Thank you very much. That's what friends are for, innit? Putting you on the spot. Oh look, another bloody fire pit here as well. Someone's left. Got a wet arse as well.
At this point in the video, I'd just like to remind you all that my channel name It's the Real Travelling Amigos. Check it out, like and subscribe it. Thank you, goodbye.
That was a cheeky, shameless plug, that. That's what you got to do. He's hungry, people. He's hungry. Yeah, subscribe to Luke. He's a good lad. So we're approaching Kit's Coty House, which is kind of like a megalithic chambered tomb, and I believe it would have been like an entrance way to, like, as I say, like a burial chamber from the Neolithic period. It's a period of history that really fascinates me. I did a little circular walk ages ago with Candice here and filmed quite a bit at Kit's Coty House, so what I'm going to do is include a little link to that video around here somewhere, so you can watch that if you want a little bit more information. Kit's Coty House is one of the best preserved examples of a rectangular stone chamber which forms the entrance to one of the many long barrows or burial mounds that were constructed during the early Neolithic period, 4,800 to 5,500 years ago. Kit's Coty, also the name of the nearby village, is thought to derive from the belief that the site is the burial place of the Celtic leader Catigern, or Kit, son of Vortigern, killed in a battle with the Saxons under Horsa in AD 455, Coty being a cot or cottage. Just there, that white bit of chalk there on the hillside, that's an old quarry, and above that is Bluebell Hill where we wild camped last night. Okay, we're at Little Kit's Coty House, so it would have been the same sort of thing as Kit's Coty House, except this one has now sadly collapsed and it's just a pile of rocks. The White Horse Stone is probably all that remains of a burial chamber, but a legend has grown up that it was part of the tomb of Horsa, one of the 5th century Saxon warlords brought in by the Celts to help fight off the Picts. He is believed to have become King of Kent with a white horse as his standard, hence the name of this stone. We found the next milestone for the North Downs Way, Farnham 79 miles, Canterbury 34 miles, Dover 46 miles. And basically since Whitehall Stone, we found loads of great places to wild camp, and really we could have pushed on and got to Whitehall Stone and camped there, and then tackled that big hill first thing in the morning, had a break up there. We would have been under the cover of the trees as well for when it rained and had the wind. We would have been out of sight of all like the kids and stuff. So lessons learned really, that's my fault. Oh well. No more steep climbs, it's kind of all downhill from here. It's been a good section. Jade's Crossing is named after Jade Hobbs, who in 2000, aged only 8, was killed while attempting to cross the A249 together with her grandmother Margaret Kuwerts. Following 2 earlier deaths, there had for some years been a campaign for a protected crossing of this very busy road, and it's tragic that it required the deaths of 4 people to achieve success. In Detling, and that's the end of this section, Cuxton to Detling, 12.5 miles of the North Downs Way, part 7, and that's the end of this video. It's been a good little section, lots of history to see. Probably should have camped at a better spot and walked a bit further yesterday, but it was very hot and we needed... The views were wicked, yeah, definitely, from Bluebell Hill. But I think just because it was close to that residential road, it wasn't ideal for camping at, really, just because, you know, you got all sorts of people turn up in the middle of the night. But there were some great spots after that, lots of woodland and stuff. Just saw Jade's Crossing as well. It's quite a poignant memorial to the little girl who was killed crossing the busy road there. And yeah, I wanted to kind of end the video there. So I want to say a big thanks to Luke again for joining me.
No worries.
Cheers, mate. It's been a pleasure as always.
Good old trip this.
It's been good fun, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Get in the comments and let us know what you think. It's great to finally be back out on the North Downs Way and walking the whole length of it. I've been looking forward to it the most out of everything. So thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, look after each other. See you soon.
Adios.
Bye.